With the release of Men in Black 3 right around the corner, I decided to revisit Men in Black and Men in Black 2, both of which I haven't seen in years. Do they still hold up, or were they better when I was a kid? I'll let you know. Men in Black came out in 1997, and I was around 6 years old. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it probably a few years later on VHS, I guess. And I remember that I absolutely loved it. It was like the best movie I had ever seen at the time. It was just fantastic. And I'm sure I watched it a few times over the years on TV or on DVD or whatever, but I hadn't watched it in years up until just recently before the release of Men in Black 3, and I really was not sure if it was going to be the same as I remembered it being an awesome, awesome movie, or if I was going to be like, really, I liked this? I was hoping I would still think it was an awesome movie. And for the most part, yes, I still did enjoy it very much. However, it definitely was the type of thing where I remember it better than it was because I saw it when I was younger. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love this movie. Men in Black, I don't know if you'd call it a classic, but it's a classic in a way, you know what I mean? And keeping in mind what it must have been like to watch it in 1997, I think the effects actually still aren't bad. I think that, it's still pretty funny. So in 97, it must have been a, freaking hit. I don't remember exactly how it was. Obviously, I was 6 years old. But, yeah, keeping that in mind, I can appreciate that people must have been blown away by it back then. Now, of course, we've got Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, who I still think were fantastic in this movie. They were great, and they were, like, the light of the movie, really. The light of the movie, really. But an important thing that this movie had that the second one lacked, which of course I will get into the second one in just a minute, is a great villain. And, he's not a great villain in the sense that he's like scary or truly menacing or anything, but Edgar, who can ever forget sugar? More sugar. That's one of the most classic things ever. Also, the Men in Black theme song is just out of this world, for lack of a less lame phrase. And yeah, overall, it's still a fun movie. It's a comedy, it's a buddy comedy, I guess you could say. It's certainly not as amazing as I remember it being when I was a kid, but it's definitely still a lot of fun. Then we move on to Men in Black 2, which came out 5 years later in 2002, and I saw this one in theaters. I do remember that. I remember seeing it in theaters, and the thing about this movie is, what do you remember of this movie? When you think of Men in Black, you think sugar. The guy pulling his head back. Actually, a lot about the villain more than anything. You remember a lot, probably, from Men in Black. But when you think of Men in Black 2, be honest, the first thing you think of is the bald Chinian. The guy with balls on his face. That's the one thing that everybody specifically remembers immediately from Men in Black 2. And that's not good when the first thing you think of is balls. In all fairness, you might think of something else when you think of Men in Black 2 right away, but that's the first thing I think of, and I suspect that a lot of other people do too. Now, the plot of this one is lacking severely, especially in the villain department. Like I said, the villain in this one just is nowhere near as good as Edgar. Maybe a little easier on the eyes, but nowhere near as memorable as Edgar. That's one problem with this movie, but the other main problem is that it just feels very small. It doesn't feel like anything's at stake at any point. You never really care about what's going on. It has a hokey kind of climax, I guess, or a finish to the movie. It's a bit hokey. And I say it feels like a TV show episode. It's almost like this would be a pretty good episode to an hour-long Men in Black TV show. That's exactly what it felt like when I watched it again. And I didn't really like it when I saw it the first time either, by the way. So I would have been, what, 7 plus 5? I would have been around 12 years old, and I still didn't even enjoy it that much in theaters. I remember that. But maybe it's because it feels small. Maybe it's because it lacks the humor that the first one has, the action. I don't know what it is exactly. I really can't put my finger on it, but it just doesn't feel the same. I should also mention that the theme song to Men in Black 2, I still think is awesome, and I thought it was freaking amazing at the time. I remember watching the music video over and over again on TV. I must have recorded it or something, but my God, I think both of those theme songs are great, but I actually, for some reason, liked the second one better. Maybe it's because I was kind of at the age where I was like, yeah, rap. Even though it's barely rap, it's Will Smith, but you know what I mean. But overall, both of them felt smaller than I remembered. Even the first one, which I still enjoyed, it just felt smaller. And, overall, Men in Black as a series, in my mind, before I rewatched these movies, was like, oh, Men in Black classic series. That's up there with the best. But they're definitely not as high caliber as I remember. But Men in Black, the idea of it is still cool. So, it brings me back to when I was younger, and I thought the Men in Black, the very first one, was just like the coolest movie I'd ever seen. So I want to keep that in mind. I want to kind of merge both the current version watching it and the 7 or 8 or 10-year-old watching it, however old I was. Merge them together, still fun. Men in Black is still fun. So let me know what you think of Men in Black and Men in Black 2. Let me know which you like better, although I'm pretty sure everybody likes Men in Black better than Men in Black 2. Let me know your favorite parts of the Men in Black series. More likely that's going to come from the first one once again. Also, let me know which theme song is your favorite, Men in Black or Men in Black 2. And I would assume Men in Black, but I really loved the Men in Black 2 theme song, so, you know, let me know what you think. Let me know anything you want about Men in Black, and that's pretty much it.